And some troubling news for millions of Americans who get health care benefits through their jobs. There's a new survey out, and it claims that 1 out of every 10 employers plan to drop health care coverage for their employees in 3 years when the key provisions of the new health care law really begin to kick in. So 1 in 10 would stop covering employees, according to this survey. Peter Ducey joins me now. He's in Washington. So, Peter, how many people would that impact?
It's hard to say specifically, but potentially millions of people who get their health insurance at work, because the consulting firm Deloitte says employer-sponsored health insurance covers more than 160 million Americans. And when they randomly asked 560 employers with 50 or more workers what's going to happen with their health insurance coverage in the next 1 to 3 years, 9% said they anticipate they'll drop it. A vast majority, 81%, said they anticipate they'll keep it, and 10% said they're just not so sure. But that's not all, because under the Affordable Care Act, there's a set of health care categories that must be covered by certain plans starting in 2014. It's called the Essential Benefits Package, and 34% of employers say that if the benefits in that Essential Benefits Package are more generous than the ones that they're providing, then they'll also consider dropping coverage. Martha? Well,
so many businesses have seen their health care coverage costs rising in recent years by numbers that don't keep up with the pace of inflation or anything else. So they've been making those changes and those considerations. And the president said if you liked your health care, you could keep it. Brings all that into doubt as well. How far out does this study go in terms of seeing the future trend in all this?
It's interesting. They give it some historical context. Listen here to what the director of their health services department said.
Well, at the beginning of the decade, 70% of companies provided health insurance. At the end of the decade, it's 60%. So would 10 years from now that be at 50%? Probably. Are there questions about whether the Affordable Care Act reduces cost? Yeah, that's what the employer said. I know it's covering a lot of folks, but does it reduce cost? We're not so sure.
And keep in mind that not too long ago, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that only 7% of workers could lose their coverage in the next decade under the Affordable Care Act. So this new number, 9%.